Hello and welcome to the Easy Peasy Branching Dialog Tool Features video. This tool is a visual node-based editor extension which allows for easy creation, editing, and implementation of dialog trees into your project. In this video, I'll be showing up how to create a dialog tree, what nodes are available to you, and other useful features. First things first, I want to shout out the README. I tried my best to make it as comprehensive and easy to understand as possible, so please refer back to it first if you have any issues. So let's start this off by making a dialog tree. In the project window, you're going to right-click, create an Easy Peasy dialog tree. This will create a dialog object for you to edit. I'll name this one just simply test. Once you've created the tree, go to Window at the top, and then Easy Peasy Branching Dialog Node Editor. Go ahead and dock this window wherever you'd like, and then you can drag in your created dialog tree and drop it right into the window. If you already have a tree open, you can drag in another dialog tree at the bar at the top, or select it on the right hand side. Now that you have your tree open, you can left-click and drag on the grid to move it around, and you can create nodes by right-clicking anywhere and selecting the node that you want to create. Right-clicking on a node, after selecting it with left-click, brings up special options for the node. Most have the option to remove and duplicate, but some other nodes, like the branch node, have unique properties on them, such as adding or removing choices. Let me talk briefly about the nodes available in this tool, which is currently on version 1.3 at the time of this video. The info node can't be created or destroyed. It doesn't have an in or an out connection. It holds basic info for the dialog tree, such as the name of the speaker and speaker sprite. None of these are needed for the tree to work, but they are available for easy access and planning. The start node controls the start of the dialog logic. It only has an out connection. A tree can have multiple start nodes, which are split by a start ID number. The user can choose which start node to start when calling the tree in the reader script. If not specified, the tree will start with the lowest numbered node. The end node is the marker for the end of a dialog tree. There can be multiple of these nodes. It only has an in connection. The dialog node contains a text field that the user can type in. It has one in connection and one out connection. It also contains an advanced options toggle, which allows for you to assign the speaker and sprite of that specific dialog node. The branch node is used to make branching choices in a tree. It has, at minimum, 3 in connections and 2 out connections. The first in connection will be the dialog for the question, while all other in connections will be for the names of the options. The options are directly correlated to the input directly across from it. The local variable node represents a variable local to the tree that the user has created. It only has one out connection. The global variable node is the same as the local variable node, except it only gets global variables from the Easy Peasy InfoHolder prefab. Note that you must make sure that the Easy Peasy InfoHolder prefab is updated to get the most recent global variables. It only has an out connection. The edit variable node allows the user to connect variable values in a dialog tree at runtime. It takes in a flow connection at the top, and then 2 more in connections labeled A and B. The variable linked into A will be the one edited, and B will be the modifier. Select the first dropdown to choose which variable will be edited, and then the second dropdown to choose how that value will be edited. Note that B does not need a variable node to be connected, as it can use the literal value built into the node. It has one out connection to continue flow. The logic node takes in variable nodes and makes a true or false decision based off of the equation selected. Like the edit variable node, it takes in a flow connection at the top and then 2 more in connections labeled A and B. Both A and B connections do not need variable nodes attached, so feel free to use the built-in literal values. Select the first dropdown to choose which value will be edited, and then the second dropdown to choose the equation that will be tested. Depending on the outcome, the flow will continue on either the true or false out connections. The new speaker node changes the info node information. It is useful for lines from another character without having to create and switch to a new dialog tree. The new speaker information stays throughout the rest of the flow, so if you want the original speaker information to return, you'll need to place another new speaker node to set it back. For quick one-liners, defer to the advanced options in the dialog node. This node has only one in and one out connection. The start change node changes the default start index. It is useful for skipping one-time introductions or variable-based interactions. It has one in and out connection. The teleport flow node links two nodes without using a flow line. This is useful for linking nodes that may be far apart, decreasing visual clutter. The teleport flow node is split into in and out variations. The in variation has one in connection and no out connection, and the out variation is vice versa. Each node has a teleport ID. In nodes go to the out node with the matching ID. This node has no in or out connections, and just contains a small text field for the user to write themselves some notes. If at any point you need to remember what a node does, there is a question mark in the top right of all nodes that when clicked on displays the info about the node. There are two more node features that I want to talk about before we move on. First, inline text replacement. By using the format var, varname, vartype, you can insert variables into your text. This works for both local and global variables, with a special format of var speaker name for the current speaker. The second thing I want to address are variables. There are two types of variables in this tool, local and global. Both work the same and have the same types. You set a variable name, being careful to make sure it's not a duplicate, and then you can use any or all of the Boolean, integer, float, or string values in it. Local variables are stored on the dialog tree. It cannot be accessed without referencing the tree itself. Global variables are stored on the EasyPeasy info holder prefab, and they can be accessed through the prefab itself, as long as the prefab is updated. To finish up this video, I want to point you towards resources that you'll need to get this dialog tree working in your project. Go to the scripts folder in the example folder and take a look at the EasyPeasy BD_example UI manager script. There are three functions that control everything in the dialog tree: conversation update, next node code, and player choice. The EasyPeasy BD_example player controller has the functions process conversation and update variables, which will help you see how the player can advance dialogue. And lastly, the EasyPeasy BD_example NPC script shows how you can use local and global variables to call other scripts or activate events in your scenes. I hope the commented code makes sense to you. Please reach out to me at easypeasytools@gmail.com if you have any questions, comments, or bugs.